Hi, it's Ashley from AB Sound Advice. Today we're checking out and doing a preview on the DLS MK6.2i 2-way component speakers. And as you've seen in the previous previews we've done, we did obviously the coaxial type where the tweeter is obviously built into the driver. This time now we are actually in a full component set, which means you've got your separate tweeters, crossovers and drivers, which is of course the midwoofer in the bottom of your door. Now I wanted to cover off too, and I noticed this in actually all the previews I did, and I didn't mention it because I took a little bit to click, and I hadn't seen this since the 80s really, so it took a little bit for me to click what it was. And I'll just show you quickly while we're doing this. You'll see this little bit of what looks like a little bit of confetti, and in reality it is not confetti. But what that is, and I'll just quickly show you, there's the driver that goes into your door. This here, you peel off the back of it, and effectively, if you can see my fingers, and I'll just actually see if I can get that to work, you would end up putting it around the cone. You stick it all the way around until you get to the other side, and that creates a seal between the metal and wherever you're mounting it, whether it be in the plastic housing or whatever. So if any of those speakers, DLS so far, I've seen that in everything that I've unpacked, and I just thought it's not confetti. So if you see that inside your box when you unpack it, don't throw it away. Just peel the back of it and just run it round the bead, just run it round close to that, just right close to the edge there, all the way around, and that will seal it off. And to be honest, it may seem like it's just the little things, but I back in the old days, again, I may be showing my age a little bit, but back in the 80s, when I installed a lot of high-end speakers back in those days, and DLS was around, I used to install DLS back in the 80s, but they came with those little bits of stuff in there, and you knew to peel it off and stick it on. But today, you don't actually see that in very many brands. I don't think I've seen it in any brands in the last 10 to 15 years. So it's only DLS that have continued on with that traditional sound, thinking, which is, let's do it all. If we're going to do the speaker right, let's just make sure we follow it through with everything. So if you do see a piece of confetti in there, don't throw it away. Just peel it back, stick it around the actual edge, and it'll stay there. And it just means wherever you install these, you get a nice seal, and it will. I mean, I don't know if you could actually hear the difference, but in some cases that could be the case if it is actually a nice little sealed pod that's in your door, and it is totally sealed. I think it could make a significant difference. So just a bit of trivia for you. So if you do see that bit of confetti, maybe just stick it on the back of the speaker, and that applies to all of the models up to this MK6. So everything, even that 4-inch, I haven't seen a speaker so far that hasn't had it. But if I notice that it's not in the box, then I'll notify you when I do the preview for that particular item. So back to the MK6.2i. Now straight off the bat, this is your traditional component. I mean, you've got the nice magnet, which you saw before. It really is a nice size. Again, the Neo gets it a lot more compact. This is without it this time, so you'll find this will be, this is where you'll notice the depth changes quite a bit. We're now at 65mm, so not every door can fit that in, but it's certainly a lot better than some of the other high-end stuff that goes right out to 75mm deep. So these guys are running they're a 6.5 driver using a 5-glass cone. It's got the Mylar tweeter and of course separate crossover boxes, which you can see in the video there. 55 RMS, 75 watt max, 140 peak. So well and truly, these things will run off a head unit very comfortably, and pretty well all the speakers from DLS can run off head units quite comfortably. And of course, if you at the time an amplifier is not an option, then this is a great brand. You'll have no problems driving those off your factory head units. So it's a great replacement, and if you can later on you add an amplifier to it, then you can just uplift the levels and improve it a little bit more again. Now you'll see in the front here these little plastic surround things there for the tweeters, and again, great little tweeter. They're nice and compact, so there's not very many places that they won't fit. They've also provided a full range of mounting options, so of course you can mount them flush in the door. There's also on the dash or on the door, and then of course little angled ones that just lean them towards you if they're going on the top of a ledge somewhere. So really well thought through. Everything's in the package. You've got your grills, and again, 90% of the vehicles out there are running a 6-inch driver. These will fit into most vehicles. There'll be the odd vehicle where there may be a depth issue, but again, you can discuss that with your installer, or look at a different option if you don't have the depth to get these in. But again, a fantastic pair of components. They look fantastic. They've been making these for quite some time. So even though this preview has been done in 2020, the sound is just the same as you'll always remember. Of course, the eye will just identify that we're dealing with a new model. So all these things, as time goes by, they're just little improvements that are made along the way. But I guess when you're making something good, you stick with it, and these guys have done that. I mean, 40 years later, and you're still making the high-end gear, and people still buying it in 50 countries worldwide, must be telling you something. And again, it's designed and engineered by DLS in Sweden. So again, a fantastic product. So if you're looking to spoil yourself, and you can, some cars you can put components front and rear. You get 2 sets of these, one for the front, one for the rear, and they'll probably be fine as they are. If you want to improve the bass in your doors, you can always put some sound deadening in, or you can add a little sub into the back of the car. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's preview on the DLS MK6.2i's. And if you'd like more information about these, you can find them on hifihq.com.au for Australia and hifihq.co.nz for NZ. And again, thank you for tuning into AB Sound Advice.